to the Transformative Sales Podcast with me, your host, Rich Wellington. And, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, listening or watching this, if you're on YouTube. I've got a wonderful, beautiful and gorgeous guest with me. His name is Sam Moinet. Is that right? Is that how you pronounce your surname?
It's a strong French surname, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, Moinet.
Beautiful. And I encourage you, if you're listening to this, hop over to the YouTube channel and watch this video. He's a very handsome chap. He's got wonderful hair.
It's very slick today.
Yeah, it's very slick. It's amazing. I'm a big hair fan. And I spend a lot of time and money and energy going out of my way to find great barbers, because you got to trust the person that's putting sharp implements near your face. That's my firm belief. And they're giving you an appearance that is then a perception of how other people will take you in life. So people overlook what a barber or a hairdresser will actually do for you, but I think it's massively important. So Sam's, how Sam's looking, right now is glorious. So Sam, Sam's the founder of Student Breakthrough, which he founded back in February 2018, and we've kind of collided together just through knowing lots of different people, and one of his best friends is James Moody, and I've worked with Remote Fit Pro for a while now, depending on when you're listening or watching this thing. And I think Sam and I sort of hit it off, very similar sort of energy, and because we're both in the coaching space and looking after each other, I think we've got a lot of similar traits. So I wanted Sam to come on basically and share what he believes in life and what he's doing with his business and what his take on communicating and connecting with with people in the world's all about. So, dude, I want to give you the microphone for for a good while now, and just do you want to introduce yourself? Where are you from? What are you doing? What's kind of brought you to that point now? And tell us all about Student Breakthrough as well.
Amazing. Well, yeah, thanks for having me, Rich. I'm really, really excited to be here, and it's a really interesting journey for me. Like, everyone's got their story, but I'm originally from Milton Keynes in England, and I had a really, really nice upbringing. Your classic, I've got 3 brothers, I had 2 great parents, and loving household. And but growing up, I was still, I wasn't very confident. I was really anxious at school to an extent, and I thought the best way to get that confidence was to go and join the British Army, because my dad was a Royal Marine Commando. He fought in the Falklands War, so he didn't push this on us, but at the same time, that's what I thought had to be a man, right? To get my dad's love, to get my confidence, because I wasn't, even on the outside, I was like a bit like in the rugby teams and stuff. Inside, I was hurting a little bit. So trained to be the British Army, do all that, and I remember getting a letter through the post. So I don't know when anyone who's listening has been at their best, but when I get this letter through the post from the Royal Anglian Regiment, it's one of those big official letters with a fucking wax stamp on it. And I open it up and it says, "Sam, we're going to sponsor you through Sandhurst, through the Royal Anglian Regiment." And to that moment, to date, that was the proudest moment of my life. And I also was like, my dad's finally proud of me. So, so happy. But then 3 weeks later, I get another letter. And this letter says, "Unfortunately, you're not going to make the cut because you failed the medical." And I've got a really, really small, minor condition of Crohn's. So I got Crohn's disease, but I didn't think it'd be a problem. It was a problem. And in that moment, I was crushed. And I guess like everyone, you go through this turmoil. And I remember going down 4 Boys in Olney. I think James Moody actually worked there. I bought a bottle of vodka and 20 Marlboro Reds. And that was a kind of low point for me. And I was just crying, and I was so emotional because I let my dad down and stuff like this. And anyway, one day I had a little spark, and I was like, I'm going to go into education because my mum's a teacher and that might be something that I enjoy. So I retrained to be a teacher, and I fell into teaching and became a history teacher, which honestly is an amazing job. Like, I know some people might slag the education system off. It's got its flaws, but I really enjoyed teaching.
Sweet. Just sorry to interrupt you. What was the time period between you sort of training to be in the Royal Anglian, getting that letter, and then deciding to retrain to be a teacher?
Oh yeah, about a year. Because I failed the I got the letter saying I couldn't do it a month before I graduated. So after I graduated uni, that whole career choice was gone. So I worked at M&S, did like a your average kind of shop floor sort of job. Got some money, went traveling, and then went to teaching. So trained to be a teacher. So that was generally how it went. And the problem was, I think once you start doing some work on yourself, you understand that this was either for a reason or you took some great learning from it and it actually made you who you are. But at the time, I was still like felt empty inside, like I'd failed and I was going to go and teach in Australia. I was basically the little boy in me was like, Dad, look at me, look at me. Like I failed the army, but I'm going to go to Australia and do this. Like I needed this big life changing event. Didn't go. And then I got more and more anxious and less confident, and I developed chronic insomnia. And I know it's a label, but I literally wouldn't sleep. And I'd rock into school, right, on like an hour's sleep trying to teach. And the kids would they'd be great, but I was so emotional. And, I got really upset and I was just in bits, really. You can't do that job, like when you're rolling in on an hour's sleep, whatever.
Yeah. You can't do anything in life, on no sleep. Sleep's vital for anything. So just to rewind again a little bit. So your father's is he still a commando now?
No, he actually left. He had his 21st birthday in the Falklands. He was a medic, so he saw lots of stuff. He doesn't tell me about that, but he then was in the submarines. So all my family history was in the military.
Yeah.
So I was like, I know you said that you were the first one to go in the RAF, right?
Correct, yeah.
But for me, it was almost a done thing growing up. I got pictures of my granddad, my great grandpa on the wall with their medals on. And as a kid, that's the influence you get. It's like,
of course, yeah.
Fuck, like if I've got to be a part of this family, I've got to do, this is what I thought, it's quite naive of me, but that's what I got to do.
Yeah, like, hey, I want my picture, like in my uniform with the medals on next to them, like to carry on this line, right? Yeah, it's a very masculine thing. That very masculine thing, masculine energy around, being in the military and having the skills and the ability and the lawfulness to carry weapons and to do harm to others that are like in the name of protection. And safeguarding. So yeah, it's a powerful thing. So he served in the Falklands, and then he's not spoken to you much about that. What was I'm interested in what was the real core thing that was going on inside of you that was making you feel anxious? I'm presuming you've sort of figured this out now, right?
Yeah, it was just all about getting my dad's love. I did a great forgiveness meditation a couple of years ago, and I'm a really big believer. I coach people a little bit on inner child stuff. So those experiences between when you're 0 and 11 that really shape us as human beings. And I was doing this big forgiveness meditation at a personal development event. And for me, it was my dad I was just dicking around, right? Rich, you got kids. Like, kids can be annoying. Like, I was a teacher as well. And
oh yeah, you basically flip from loving them one day to wanting to drown them the next. So yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. And I think I'm not a parent yet, but sometimes you'll say stuff that you might not mean anything. And this is what really, sometimes it could be a teacher, it could be a parent, but for me, my dad just had a go at me, right? I was in the loft, in the attic, and he got in my face and shouted at me, and I was really scared. And then he got in his car and drove off. So like little boy inside, 7-year-old, was like, fuck, is he going to come back? And does he love me? And I think from that moment, in my personal opinion, that's when I went down this route of, I've got to make him proud. I've got to make him see that I'm something. Which you might agree with that, might disagree with that. For me, I think those experiences, everyone's got those experiences somewhere, and they shape you for your motivation as you become a man, a woman, whatever, as you grow up.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So forgiveness as a starting point, massive thing. I'm not personally religious, but that's the biggest thing I've taken away from studying religion and spending time with lots of different people across the world is the forgiveness portion is just so powerful. The ability to move from that place of expectation to acceptance, like as quick as possible, that's what helps people elevate and ascend in life. the longer you spend in that place of expectation and not forgiving and being toxic and feeling really dark and in a really low place, the more it takes away from you as a person and creates more disconnect as well between. It's usually a single unit, a single person and you that's got that disconnect. So amazing. So you went through this forgiveness exercise. You like the inner child stuff as well. Again, done that. It fucking hurts, doesn't it? Like,
just let of lads just crying. It's good. You got to get that release. Like,
dude, honestly, like, and I've got like the Glenn Harold app, and I'll put that in the show notes. And I've got the inner child thing that I listen to from time to time, and this is something I've consciously worked on over the last sort of 3 or 4 years. And even now, if I was to listen to it, I'll probably be listening. And this particular one, it walks you to a park bench, and then your 5 or 6-year-old self comes and sits down next to you. You hold hands, and you tell them it's all right, and they tell you it's okay, and they're happy and stuff. And I wake up, and I've just got fucking tears, gushing down my face. Was that the sort of emotional outburst that you had, from doing that the first few times?
Yeah, it's clearly emotional, but I love what you said about forgiveness, because I did a talk on this, but there's a really simple equation. It's forgiveness plus acceptance equals love. And I really believe until you forgive and then accept the situation, you can't bring that love into your life via other people or what you're putting out into the world. Because I see so many of my close friends who haven't gone down this route or haven't done any development or work on themselves. And it's interesting to see that they've still got this pain. I'm just like, you want people to be able to release and express how they feel. Mm-hmm. But, doing this makes you a better husband, boyfriend, brother, son. I remember to my dad the first time. I was like, look, I've done this. I forgive you and I love you. And he looked at me like, what the fuck is going on? Because it's taken him some time. He's taken some time to really work out, what I do. He's very loving and supportive, but we're so different in that way. Like, he went to military school when he was 13. I was 21st in the Falklands. I'm like a bit deeper, a bit like, coaching and working with kids, but he's got there. And interestingly, Rich, he when I told him about doing stuff to make our dads proud, one day he turned to me and he's like, you know what? I think that's why I went into the Navy and the Marines, is to make my grandpa proud of my dad. And the only time my grandpa ever told my dad he loved him or was proud of him was when he got off the boat from the Falklands.
You see, that's interesting. I think that's at the core of most men when we really drill down into it. There's like a rite of passage that I think we all need to go through. And whether that's like your personal experience, what you've gone through, or whether it's like what I've done or anyone else that's listening. But it's like on the film 300, right? Where they kick the youngsters out into the wild and they're like, you have to survive now. Now it's your time to learn how to be a man. And so many different cultures doing it in different ways. And I think that's massively overlooked in our culture. I think we try to protect our young so hard that we end up overprotecting, and then we essentially become a little bit soft. And I don't mean that emotionally or physically. I just mean in a general sense. So then I totally agree. Survival instincts and stuff are becoming more diminished. I feel like I experienced a diminished experience of being hardened, if you like, to the world, and just having a general overall experience that's better than previous. But interesting. I love this. I certainly didn't know this about you. So again, before we push further into your future, have you ever had any second or tertiary thoughts about joining the military or doing something in that respect?
Not anymore. I mean, for the first 2 years when I was teaching, if someone had said, Sam, we can get you in the military, I'd have been like, fucking amazing. Like, I would have quit my job there and then. But, in retrospect, when I told everyone I was doing the army thing, everyone was a little bit shocked. I've got some great skills. organization, leadership, like those kind of management skills I'm really good at. But if I'm honest, I'm quite sensitive. And, my mum was like, really? Like, you really gonna do this? Because my dad's quite tough. Like, and I think some things I would have struggled with. So no, like I've got this written on my board right now, failure is a blessing. And although that was a really shit time going through that, I wouldn't be a teacher, or I wouldn't have been a teacher. I wouldn't be chatting to you right now. Like, everything works out, and it definitely wasn't the right call. It was like the universe almost being like, dude, like, I love your enthusiasm, but we're going to pull the plug here. Do you know what I mean? We want you to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
That's what I really believe.
Sweet. Love it, dude. Love it. So fast forward us a little bit then. So, you were doing the teaching, you were rocking up with like an hour's sleep if you were lucky some days, and did you end up like labeling yourself as having insomnia, or did you get that as an external thing?
I did lots of reading, and I got some really bad advice. I wouldn't wish poor sleep on my worst enemy. Like, I'm still not great now. And since leaving teaching and running a business, like, it's come back a bit. And the way I deal with my insomnia is acceptance. People try and fight it, buy pills, spray fucking lavender on their pillows, all this shit, right? You've got to, like we're talking about forgiveness, you've got to accept the situation. I happily say I accept my insomnia, because until you accept it, then you can't move forward. Because we try and battle it. And that's what I did for a while, battling it, and didn't work. So forgive, do a bit of mindful meditation, not to control it, just to put you in the right state. And that's how I moved on. But yeah, it's a rough patch. So I just want to shout a book out. If anyone's struggling with their sleep, I've got a great book. It's actually in front of me. It's called The Sleep Book by Dr. Guy Meadows. If you're struggling with sleep, check it out.
So the Sleep Book by Dr. Guy Meadows. And again, I'll drop that in the show notes. And Sam, I appreciate you sharing that with anybody. If there's anything else that comes up while we're talking, please do share. I love handing knowledge out.
Tips.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sat in front of my part of my personal library. And am I ever going to read it all? Like, I have the best intentions. I think Amazon Prime is the devil, right?
Oh, mate, yeah.
Because you can just go buy an amazing book that you get recommended, just go straight on the shelf. But then I'm not a very fast reader. One of my goals for this year is try and read a book.
Learn to read.
Yeah, but a book a month.
Oh,
right? A book a month. And again, learn to read as well, because the Yorkshire language, we have to have it translated into standard English.
You got subtitles on this show, right?
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, actually, Sonics is a great transcription service. So I've tried Rev, so rev.com. I've come across this other one called Sonics, and it's based on artificial intelligence. And you know what? I was really concerned when I uploaded some audio and some video if it was actually going to be able to hear my voice when I'm in full flow and I'm just giving it the big one. And funnily enough, it came back at sort of 93% accurate. And it was just, it was like small grammatical errors that were actually coming back. So I was actually pleasantly surprised by the artificial intelligence. So whoever's out there making these artificial intelligence bits of software that can understand Yorkshire people, I mean, Scottish, that's a different ballpark, but yeah, thank you. So
maybe they're from Yorkshire. Yorkshire developers.
That's it. Now then, my old mucker, hey up, how's it going? What's the sleep thing? You've come to just accept that. What do you find there are things that trigger you're struggling to get a good night's sleep, and does it last for like a period of time? And do you think inside of yourself that over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years that you'll actually be able to just crush that thing or be able to minimize it?
No, I don't think I can ever minimize it. When you've gone through a patch like that, like, it's always with you. And unfortunately, our brains are amazing, right? They're for our survival. And that being said, they're always going to remember those past experiences to then compare it to. But everything in this life is temporary. That's what I always tell myself. If I'm going through a bad patch, everything's temporary. And that bad patch will pass. So I got over it when I was teaching. And like I said, it's come back. Like, I started my business. I left my job in July, my teaching job. And I'm not going to bullshit anyone. Like, it's come back, and it's pretty horrible at times. But it's how you deal with it and how you think about it, and acceptance and having that thing that everything is temporary, nothing in this life is permanent at all, really gives me the belief that things will improve and get better. Oh, I can't hear Rich. You're muted.
There we go. I was just chatting away to myself then. I like to hit the the mute button and stuff, because sometimes people are like, "You're breathing really heavy." I'm like a phone pervert. Vader. Yeah, I'm like Vader all over the place. I cannot relate. With the insomnia side of things. I'm just one of those people. If you put me down on the floor or in a seat and just say go to sleep, I'd just be like, okay, and 20 seconds later, I'd be off with it. So I feel fairly lucky in that sense, I guess, that I've not, maybe that'll change. The only thing I'm experiencing for all the parents out there is like sleep regressions and all that other shit. So it's almost like SAS training. So the sleep deprivation is pretty intense.
Just without the gunfire and the abseil and stuff.
Well, that sometimes does occur, through the night, and it does actually feel like there's bullets going off over your head and stuff, particularly when you've got toys being smashed against your face and stuff.
Take cover.
Wicked. So tell us about the student breakthrough then.
Yeah. So anyway, what's we going off? But my friend was like, you got to speak to this coach. This is when I was at my lowest point, and I spoke to this coach on the phone just for half an hour. And just through asking some powerful questions, I basically saw this whole failure as a blessing, and that my dad did love me. And I remember, this is so powerful. I remember that it was April 23rd, 2014 or 2015. Anyway, I remember the exact date to an extent. After this call, put my headphones on, and I walk around the park, and I'm just crying. But the whole park's like technicolored, it's vibrant. I feel alive for the first time. And I go back to school, and I become a much better teacher. It's almost like an instance I connected with my true self and what I was really put on this earth to do, which was to serve young people. And I became a better teacher, like I said, loved my job. But I went back and I still saw kids who were anxious, who were low on confidence, and who just were sad and underachieved and all this stuff you see. And there just wasn't enough time. No one was giving these kids the time they needed. Because if you know education, there's no money, there's no resources. So I was like, hang on, what if I sat up in bed one night, glass of wine, I get really creative just before sleep. I'm sure most people might do as well. And I was like, shit, what if I coach students one-on-one to make them feel more confident, just like the coach just did with me? Imagine if I had that impact with students at a young age. What's that going to do for them? So that's what I did. I found a great company in America called Academic Life Coaching. For me, it's important to get qualified. You get lots of cowboys out there that call themselves whatever you want. Yeehaw, literally it could be anything. But it was important for me to get qualified, and I learned strategies to coach students, basically. And I went back, started using it on students. I remember this girl called Ella. She came from Australia, actually, a bit like my now girlfriend. And she get knocked at the door. This little girl standing there, and she says hello to me in an Australian accent. And then a couple of weeks at school, she just gets really low. And she's in my form group and she's crying. And I'm just learning to be a coach. And I'm like, Ella, would you like to be coached? And speak to the mum. And in 3 sessions, she starts turning it around. And, she messaged all her teachers at 14 saying she's struggling. She needs to catch up. She's got loads more support. She started using her laptop to help her catch up all the work faster because obviously she missed everything. She started boxing, letting out all that frustration, getting healthier. And I've still got the quote written on my whiteboard. It said, "This is amazing. It is changing my life." And I was like, fuck, I wanted something here. And giving students that space, that one-on-one attention means they can step up and just learn loads about themselves from a young age. So in July this year, I decided to quit, which was a bold move. No one really expected it at school. And it has been bold. I've been chucked straight in the deep end. Like I've got never run a business before. Being the optimist I am, I was like, it's gonna be fine. And to an extent, it has been fine. It's been the hardest thing I think I've ever done. Like I'm sure people out there are entrepreneurs and business owners. I'm about 6 months in. Like it's tough. The roller coaster of emotions are tough. But like my learning, my growth, I've met some awesome people like yourself, and I wouldn't change it for the world. That's what I'm up to.
Awesome. Appreciate you sharing that. And it is very emotional, very emotional. That doesn't matter whether you're doing this thing with other people or whether you're doing it on your own. There's all the same sorts of problems, that come into play. I've helped one person.
Yeah.
How do I get more people that are actually going to pay me money now?
That's the big thing. Yeah. That's the big thing.
Yeah, exactly. And so this, I usually see this trait in people that look at that being in the military, the underlying thing, and I can totally relate. And this is why, I went to surf. I figured out later in life and why I've done all the things I've done. I just love people. I just want to help people. Right. I just want to, like you experienced, you fucking changed my life. This is amazing. And how you got that experience, with your own personal breakthrough as well. I think that has to flow through as many people as possible and have their eyes opened, right? So now with, the student breakthrough, what's the age range that you're helping through that?
Yeah, great question. I originally was when I started, I was like, I'm going to coach 14 to 18-year-olds. And since then, I've coached a 27-year-old. So she just come out of university, and that was amazing coaching a postgraduate, what they wanted to do. And I've actually started a primary school program. So I coach 2 7-year-olds and a 9-year-old as well, which is so much fun because I've got my program, my workbook, but it's adapting it to primary school kids. And my brother's a year 1 teacher, so he teaches 5-year-olds. So before I go and do these primary sessions, I'm like, is this good enough? Can they access this? And we make it really creative. Got glow sticks in last time. We did an exercise with glow sticks, and you got to just change your stuff. But the thing is, for me, right, I want to help students get the understanding that I got at 24, but when they're like, obviously maybe not 7, but when they're 14 and 15, like they're going through a personal development journey and finding out what their strengths and weaknesses are, what their values are. We do a future self exercise and how they can channel those like negative thoughts and limiting beliefs. Like, I know it's my business, but I think this shit's invaluable because we've both gone through it later. But imagine getting that at 14.
Yeah, exactly. It's powerful. It's powerful stuff. Like imagine, and most of the people that are going to be watching or listening to this are going to be, similar age to us, mid to late 20s, mid 30s, probably, into early 40s, that sort of age range. And some people don't actually start this personal development journey, and forgiving and releasing shit and dropping emotions, until they are our age. Right. So you end up using your youth, in your teenage years, like I personally did quite a lot of destructive stuff, before I ended up going into the military. For those that don't know, I've got a criminal record. I'm such a bad man, and I acted out in certain ways and I was fighting and things like that. But imagine if I'd had someone like yourself from being sort of 7, 8, 9 years old and helping me to understand what it was that was going on in my head and be able to find like the young girl that you helped, and go boxing and release that energy. What an amazing thing, dude.
Yeah, I mean, actually, the pinnacle for me was I coached this girl called Casey. She was my first ever practice client, and now she's been my client for a couple of years. But she's now coming on stage to talk at my next event. 15-year-old girl, and she actually coaches now anxious students in year 7. So she set up her own Instagram page to help anxious students in school, and she sits down. She sacrifices her lunchtime to coach those anxious year 7 students. And for me, it's like a massive circle. I've coached her, I made her more confident and happy, and now she's making other students more confident and happy. Like it's just kind of spreading positive love, positive vibes.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. People ask me all the time. I had a lady yesterday. She was like, "Oh, do you mind if I repost some of your content?" I was like, "Fucking go for it. Absolutely." she's like, oh, just, it's so great. And I just want to, share it with my friends and my family. And I've asked people, they asked me, oh, do you mind if I share your teachings, and the stuff that I've actually coached them on? I'm like, absolutely. It's all about just keeping it rolling, because everyone's going to have their own interpretation of what you've taught them and how that plays over their life experiences and stuff. So everything's always going to get repurposed in a completely different way with each individual, So I'm all for that. Great. So you've just mentioned that you're going to be doing your first live event and have second. Beg your pardon. I'm sorry. I bloody did know that you did a first one, because that was the back end of last year, right?
It was, yeah. It's about taking action. I went to an event on how to run an event, and if that makes sense, an event on how to run an event, because
totally sold you.
Yeah, sold down the river. But I'm all about, I'm like you as well. I love being around people. I love learning, and this event was so cool. It's about made us take so much action in this fucking event. We do a bit of talking and getting up on stage, talking about a message. And then he's like, right, I want you to choose a date. So I choose the 17th of November. I said, I want you to message 20 people in your contacts saying you got an event on this day, you want to come. Then half an hour later, I'm getting things. Oh my God, Sam, this is amazing. I haven't got a title for the event. I didn't know anything about the event. Didn't have a venue. Then he made us do a Facebook Live. Then he made us go and grab someone off the street and tell them about the event. It was a load of action. But basically, that forced me to do my first event, which is for parents. So my company's called Student Breakthrough. This was called the Parent Breakthrough. So we had 20 parents in the room. Just going a bit of personal development, coaching, motivation. Because that's what I'm passionate about. Is I do loads of stuff for kids one-on-one, but then they might go home and the parents might not have those tools or strategies to help them. So that's why I'm trying to help parents become coaches, give or take. Amazing. So the next event is called the Family Breakthrough. So we're going to have parents and kids, whole families together, getting whole breakthroughs, learning more about themselves. And like you're big on communication, that's one thing I want them to take away from the event is, more communication as a family unit and being able to open up and share, like kind of what me and my dad didn't really do too much of, had that ability to share and connect on a deeper level, which I think we're losing as a society for obvious reasons. But yeah.
Amazing. Love it. I love it. So we're teaching the parents to be great coaches or have those tools and those skills to take back into the family environment. How did that first event go, by the way?
First event was amazing. So like I said, it was all really fast. It was in a month from just choosing this date to running the event. It was a month. So I only really had about 2 weeks to advertise it, but I really enjoyed it. I've done lots of my speaking. People go to public speaking classes and, you can learn loads, but it's like teaching. Like you can read a big book on how to teach, but until you're in a class of 30 kids, that's when the shit hits the fan. And that's when it's like, you got to step up. So I've done lots of my speaking. I'm trying to work out what I love more, coaching or speaking, but I want to have a bigger impact. So, we had parents standing up who never met each other, crying, being vulnerable, because like we were just talking about, Rich, not many people do this work. I wasn't taking people that deep, but when people go through a bit of discovery for the first time, it's emotional. And what was awesome is I made that space for a 50-year-old bloke to get up and cry and talk about his, what's going on with his granddaughter, I think it was. And it was so supportive, everyone was clapping, and I learned loads. I've got different things I'm gonna work on because, it's never perfect. And I took away lots of that. So yeah, I loved the event. It was awesome. Really, really fun. I think it was a highlight of my journey so far, I'd say.
Yeah, or at least 2018, right?
2018, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Proud of you, dude. Real proud of you. Yeah, awesome. Wait, so what's got the future got laid out for the student breakthrough, and have you got like a specific public goal? Like, are you trying to transform X amount of people's lives? What's the big thing that we're working up towards at the minute?
So I'm not sure like many people had this, but I want it all now. I've always wanted it all now. As when I was growing up, I wanted to be the best rugby player, the best friend. I don't know, anything I wanted to be the best at, but right now. And that's been quite hard for me because I want to impact 5 million lives. I write that down. I started writing shit down like in my journal that I want to change the world and be the best student coach in the world and all this stuff. And, I've kind of moved away from that and 5 million lives. Maybe that's the thing I'm going to hit at the end. This mission is going to take a lifetime. And I've been wanting to think, I'm going to get in this big speedboat and it's going to take me with a huge engine. It's going to take me straight there, right? Big engines. I'm going to get there straight away. It's going to be really fast. What I found in these 6 months is I'm actually in like a like little dinghy with a tiny little sail, and I'm going at like 1 knot, and I've just got to keep tacking. I've just got to keep tacking away to find the wind to push me in the right direction. So yeah, this year it's about running more events. I want to run like a breakthrough festival on mental health and healthy eating and fitness, still into my fitness. And it's just about, for me, again, most people on here might be business owners or entrepreneurs. It's just about getting consistency. At the moment, it's, I'll get a sale, I feel like top of the world, and then it might take a time to get another sale in. So it's about getting consistency with that, I would say, and also running more events, because that's where I've had my great success, is running events. People know, like, and trust you, and then they're willing to sign up. So yeah, that's the aim.
Awesome. And that, by the way, that Sam just mentioned about, get a sale, and then we spend so much time in celebration mode, and then feeling like we have to create space to be with that client sometimes as well, and give them lots of attention and perceived value, and things like that we end up forgetting. Hey, it's actually a business. We've got to go straight back to that place of, hey, like, can we get another client? Because the more people we bring in, the more people we can transform.
And on that, I'm going to be really honest here and say that in my first, again, I'm not sure if people have done this, but in my first 5-6 months, I've loved the showy side of the business. Like, I love the dreams. I love speaking. I love my coaching. I'm going to be honest, I've totally really ignored the business side of my business. And it's something that's really, I crunched some numbers yesterday, and it was a big realization for me that, right, now I've got to really start upping it, because I went on that, like you said, Rich, sorry, I've kind of ignored, I've got a sale, and I've been like, yeah, I'm like fucking Branson, Alan Sugar, Gary Vee, whatever. I feel like a power.
When that first Stripe payment drops in your bank, woohoo!
Oh, literally cracking the champagne, spraying over myself,
Exactly.
But and that's really what's been distracting in some ways, is I've got distracted by my not distracted. I focus on my speaking, my coaching, and my goal for 2019 is to actually get more business aware, business knowledge, and really start to love that side of my business as much as I love the glossy, the showy side.
Yeah, got it. Natural evolution, dude. Natural evolution. That, and for anyone listening, don't be hard on yourself. It's exciting, and you've got all of those nerves, particularly around like this situation that Sam's talking about, where he's gone from being employed and being in a career, and then just dropping it. And even while we're speaking now, we're only sort of 6 or 7 months away from when he did that. So there is a period of time where you wake up on the morning, you go, I don't have to be anywhere this morning. Unless you've got a brick and mortar business, obviously, if we're talking in terms of, the digital space and stuff, or if you're running events, like Sam does. But, certainly if you're just relying on laptop and webcams and, Skype and Zoom and things like that, yeah, you do wake up and you go, interesting. I don't have to drive into work today. Yeah. This is pretty cool. But then, there's that old slippery slope of not spending your time where it's actually going to be moving the needle, and growing the business essentially. But dude, you're surrounded by amazing people, me included in that little network, where you can tap into all of our knowledge and stuff like that. And that's what I want to encourage, the listeners and the watchers of this, when you become a part of, what we're doing over here, then, you've got all the knowledge in the world to be able to make yourself a success. If you've got this, and I don't know if you can hear how Sam's talking, the energy he's got is truly in the right place. He's truly in the right place. Yeah.
And that's what I just want to say as well. Like, for a while I was fighting my ego, and I was like, well, my ego was telling me, no, you got to do this on your own. You got to do this on your own. And if you ask for help, you're a failure. And I just want to say, for me, it took me a while, but I'm now fully over that. And I've asked for help. I've asked for people's support because I'm fucking 5 months in. Like, I'd be an idiot not to take their advice. And if you are struggling with anything, just reach out and just connect with someone, because it's helped me out. It's eased the pressure of me as this new kind of solopreneur, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's eased the pressure on me, and I feel way more happy, because when you're coming through a place of fear, you don't create anything. Like, in December, I was in so low, I didn't create anything on my business because I was coming from a place of fear, and I was, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And that's the thing. You've got to ease that pressure, and then you can start creating, and then you can start serving again. And that's been a big realization for me.
Yeah, exactly. Where you put your attention, where your attention goes, your energy flows. Is that right? Is that a Tony Robbins?
Is that Rich Wellington quote?
I'm pretty sure that's Tony Robbins. I cannot have that at all. But yeah, but it's so true. The thing that you focus on is the thing that you end up getting back. So if you stay in a place of fear and, oh, there's no clients and I'm not going to make enough money this month, and oh my God, particularly around Christmas time, I found this, for solopreneurs and, new businesses and stuff, it's a scary time of year because, we live in the Western world where we're expected to, be gifting people and doing nice things and wearing nice jumpers and going out for drinks and stuff. And when you just don't have that expendable cash there available, and you're thinking, oh, I'm digging into my savings here and stuff, it can be quite a scary time of year. It really can. So I get it. And there's then the other scarcity mindset of, it's Christmas, some people are not going to have money, and they're not going to want to come and buy this right now because it's a luxury item, like the coaching and stuff. So, yeah, what would you say to someone else if they were, like, if it was a mirror image of yourself? What would you say to Sam back in December?
That's a very good question. I remind myself what I said about my insomnia, which is everything is temporary and this will pass. And the fact that December is a slow month doesn't mean I'm a failure. Like, if we're coming from this coaching space where we're serving people, no one wants to invest in that program right now in December. So I just say to him, just relax. Don't come from a place of fear. This is just all learning, and it's temporary and it'll pass, and it has passed. But, we've all had these days. I couldn't get out of bed. I was crying. It was tough. It was hard. It was my lowest point I've come from. But you got to lean into that, and the learning I've had out of it, like we're just talking about now, has made me stronger. And I know now next December or next quiet month, whenever that's going to be, just relax. It's temporary. It's going to pass. It doesn't mean you shouldn't come from a place of fear or scarcity, because that's when the problem starts, because then you're not creating, then you're not serving and helping other people. Exactly. And I don't want to get too hardcore into the nitty gritty of, the marketing tactics and strategies or sales tactics. But, again, I'll talk to Sam and for anyone else that's been in that situation. It's just a compounding effect. So usually when people experience, quiet months or a month, it's because the previous 1, 2, or 3 months have been very slack in terms of content you've been putting out, offers you've actually been making to your audience and stuff. So we need to be in a place of thinking like a business all the time. Yeah. So, if you're in the digital space right now, think of what you do like an actual shop, right? You have to turn up every day. If your opening times are Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 10 till 4, you have to turn up, open the shutter, clean your shop window, and be in there behind the counter, doing the stuff, right? Talking to people, pulling things down off the shelf, showing them it, and be like, hey, yeah, this is what I do. If people come in and ask, let them go and take it for a demo or whatever it might be. Think, when people start thinking of it like that, it's like, oh yeah, because people think they can just get away with not doing the work being online. And I'm not saying you've done that necessarily, but a lot of people do. And they think that I'll buy a MacBook Pro, I'll get a nice microphone, and I'll buy a leather-bound journal. And I'm, as long as I drink coffee every day, I'm cool to go. I'll buy some expensive subscriptions. It just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. So
I will say for anyone that has, been through that patch, just look back logically and analytically at the previous months. All right, what content have we put out? How many offers have we made? How much actual, direct response have we been doing? Just messaging people, because Sam's already said it. When he took action and started messaging people and said, "Hey, I'm running an event," all of a sudden his event happened. And it's not all of a sudden, it's actually we put the action in and the work to get to that point, So, sorry, I went off on a tangent, but I just wanted to...
No, it's really good. That's actually really helped me out, because now I feel it's, coming from that slump has really given me a kick up the arse. It's been, not coasting, but, no one, just because I got a great idea doesn't mean that, anyone, I don't owe the world. The world doesn't owe me anything because I've got the idea. It's about taking action, like you said, and coming from that different place of not scarcity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the shop window thing. It's really cool.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot easier for people to understand. We all understand shops, because if you turned up to a shop and it was either closed during the opening hours, or there was dog shit on the pavement outside, or it looked shabby and it wasn't painted properly, what would your impression of that shop be?
Yeah, shit.
Exactly, shit. Whereas like the biggest brands in the world, outside their shops and stores, it's always immaculate. Like that's why Apple, right, as just one example, most of us love Apple. Unless you're a mega Android geek and you're just like, oh, I hate Apple, you can at least appreciate the brand. If you go to an Apple store, it is something to behold, right? That full glass fronted window, it's always immaculate with no fingerprints on it. Outside, the pavement's always super mega clean. You go inside, everyone's well presented. It's always open on time. They even open super early when they're launching certain products, right? So people can queue up outside to fucking grab it, right? Start to think about the physical side, and how you can overlay that, in the digital space. And then you'll be that, because there's a lot of like ethics that we should take away from old shopkeeping. Just having like general respect for people coming and asking questions and following up with everybody that comes into the shop. You think of yourself as like a small community shop. You can't afford to, you're not rude to people, because most of these people are your neighbors. This is how I've thought about it. I got brought up in a family business from being sort of 10 years old. And then I transitioned into the family business being 15, and I actually managed a shop with staff underneath me at 15 when I left school. So all I ever had in my head was, I know this person, I know this person, I know you, I've got respect for you because you are literally my neighbor. So everything I ever did when I was serving people over the counter, I was always like giving them the best service I could. Do they need me to pop round after I finish work and nip in and help them, with their computer, or change that ink cartridge, or just give them a bit of advice? So I've literally taken that I did for so many years, almost like brainwashed into serving people in that physical environment, and just brought it into the digital world. So sometimes people think, if you do that, they're like, you're a weirdo. Like, what's all this great energy you're bringing into this conversation? I don't think he genuinely means you can come round to my house for a cup of tea. I do. I do, genuinely.
That's
like
an amazing way to look at it.
Yeah.
Because
so anyway, yeah.
You shouldn't lose that, yeah?
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. And, I don't know whether the Americans can resonate with this, but certainly, in small British towns like I've got brought up in, small market towns in Yorkshire at least, everyone's very close-knit, everyone knows each other, and there's a huge amount of respect, that's created amongst all the shop owners and the people that come in to spend their money within the town. It does great things for the town and keeps it afloat, essentially. So tell us about, 2019, you've explained. What about like the year after? Has that stuff been laid out in your mind yet? Or is that just like, I'm going to accept whatever comes up for the time being and just work on, the core business?
I think for me, I want to have the biggest influence I can. And by that, I mean, having a big influence, but being able to help and serve as many students as possible. I said that number 5 million, I kind of plucked that from thin air, but it's a great target to be at. Obviously, as a coach one-on-one, I can't really be serving as many people. That's why I really get a kick out of speaking, because you can influence and help obviously many people at once. For me, it's about the aim really is to have like some app with my workbook with all the coaching tools and exercises on it that kids can work through at school. Like imagine a PSHE lesson, which is basically like physical education, health education, stuff like that. Imagine kids get their phones out and they work through some of the coaching activities, and they have a little bit of self-discovery and they write down their action steps for that week. I want to make it as accessible for people, almost with videos and other things, to help students around the world, because there's only one of me, but I want to just keep spreading my message and spreading, what Student Breakthrough is all about. So I think moving forward, that's really where I'm going towards, is online course, apps, something like that. That's what I'd really, really love, because then we have just greater awareness about, and it improves mental health around the world. Like I said, if I love this great thing, sometimes I come out of my coaching and I'm like, did I really serve that student very well? Or did that go very well? And I'm sure many people have watched this, or read this book. It's called The Prosperous Coach by Rich Litvin. He's got this great analogy of, if someone was going through a bad patch and they went up to a lamppost and just vented and talked to the lamppost about their problems and were just opening up, they're still going to get value. So even though I won't be there for the coaching, even though they might be typing in their responses or using a tool in the app, they're still having some discovery and they're still getting something off their chest. So that's really where I see it going, and getting this stuff more in schools, coaching and the development and helping students and change the education system, because it's so literally stuck in the Victorian age. And I want to revolutionize it and bring it to the future and where it should be at, because we've got mental health, we've got anxiety on the rise. And it's because of the pressure we put students under. And I had 10 minutes at the whole academic year, Rich, I had 10 minutes with my form to talk about this stuff with each kid. That's it. Obviously, we'd had these conversations throughout the year, but the school gave me 10 minutes dedicated time, which is not enough. Yeah. So it's about changing it.
Got it. Hey, that was awesome. I got you on your soapbox then. That was wicked.
Yeah, you did.
That's good. I love that, dude.
That's me talking from my heart.
Yeah. So then exactly, and this is what people need to see and what they need to hear. This is why I've put the show in place and interview great amazing people like yourself. Okay. The thing that was coming to mind, and again, I'm just speaking from a place of honesty as well. It's almost like, you remember when Jamie Oliver first kicked off this campaign for like getting healthy food into school, and everyone was like, oh, what? You can't do that.
I want turkey dinosaurs.
Telling me what to eat. You can't tell me what to feed my children. That is disgusting. And now it's like, it's a standard. If you go to a school and they don't feed great food to your kids, it's like, it's scandalous. Yeah. Right? Yeah, so what a massive mindset shift, through the whole of the country and other portions of the world as well. So I think if you were to attack this the right way, and really demonstrate like how many people you can actually help on this, it's not just the students, it's also the parents as well and everyone else involved. Because, hey, if you've got a more personally developed human from a younger age, how much easier is it going to be for the teachers inside of that system, whatever it ends up developing into? Mm. There's going to be less disruption. People are going to be wanting to achieve more. It's just, you know more. You know more about what the outcomes would be than I do, but it's exciting.
It's about showing students about learning about themselves, but also taking responsibility. Because we said at the start that parents sometimes shield their kids from making mistakes, or building up this victim mentality. And I saw it all the time. But it comes from the parents. But it also comes from another influence, and that has to be school, which is something that's just not happening right now. And it's about getting people to step up and like I say, take responsibility, own their mistakes and learn from them, because then we can have a much nicer classroom environment. Can you imagine the workforce if they've gone through a little bit of self-discovery? How much more resilient they'd be, how much more accepting of criticism, how much more we can have those open conversations than people slagging off their managers or feeling like they're being told to do stuff. Like, because coaching is coming into the workforce, but if it starts from a young age and people see the value, then it's going to make that whole transition super easy.
Exactly. Exciting stuff, dude. I love your vision. I love what you're doing with Student Breakthrough. I'm excited for you, through this year.
Thank you, Nick.
Excited to see you, speak on stage more and do more of your events. I think that'll be, really captivating for all those people that are involved in that process. Amazing.
Thank you.
So I always wrap up the shows by asking people my quick fire questions. I've got 10 of them for you.
Okay. All right.
So I just want you to answer these instinctively, and don't worry about the answer. Just spit it how you feel.
Be honest, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, straight out. So, quick fire question number 1. What's your favorite swear word?
Fuck.
Quick fire question number 2. What is your biggest turn on?
Oh, I reckon my snowboard in hand with a fresh slope, just like fresh powder, and just bombing down there on my snowboard. That's my biggest turn on. That's
Awesome. You're a good snowboarder?
I used to work at the indoor snow zone in Milton Keynes, so I used to like get free slope time there. But yeah, no, I'm not any, now I've gotten older, I get more hesitant. You don't want to fucking hurt yourself. Back then, I was like throwing myself up anything.
Of course, I used to skate, right? Half pipes and all that sort of stuff, jump off rooftops. I mean, if you put me on them now, I'd probably break the things because I'm so damn heavy. But yeah, also, like if I stood on a rooftop now, I'd just be like, I'm going to break my leg if I jump off this thing.
Yeah, it's weird how you lose that, you lose that sort of fear.
There you go. Everyone's keeping me publicly accountable. Maybe I need to get back into skating.
Yeah, comfort zone, Rich.
Maybe that's what I need
do
to
a half pipe, mate.
Quick fire question number 3, dude. What sound or noise do you love?
Drum and bass. Just pounding drum and bass.
Awesome.
Yeah, 108 BPM, just in front of a rave all going off. That's what I love. Love that energy. Yeah.
Sweet. Quick fire question number 4. What is the last meal you would eat before you died?
I'm gonna be quite boring and just say, actually no, I was in Cuba recently, had an amazing lobster. So I reckon definitely steak and lobster.
Boom. Any dessert?
Yeah, New York cheesecake.
Fucking amazing. Amazing.
That's pretty good, right?
It's amazing how many people just pick these like super rich, intense foods for their that's it. That says something, right? If you had if you had the opportunity to eat food like that all the time and not clog your arteries up and not put loads of weight on, I think we'd all eat like that.
Oh, for sure.
Quick fire question number 5. What is your favorite perfume or cologne to smell on others?
I'm going to be really kind of cringe, but I know you're wearing a Hollister top. My brother's got this Hollister aftershave, and they will spray it outside the shop into Hollister. I really fucking love that smell.
Love it. Yeah. I've got a Hollister t-shirt on right now.
You're rocking it, Rich.
Yeah. And I don't own many t-shirts. I don't own many clothes. No. I'm very, very limited. If you
naturalist.
I do like being naked. I love being naked. Right. When we've got the house to ourselves, I'll sleep naked. I'll get up. I'll come down. I'll go through my full morning routine with no clothes on. I absolutely fucking love just like swinging everything around. But the few clothes that I do own,
thanks for that visualization.
Yeah, honestly, if you ever see a full length picture of me, that'll help you visualize that, even more. But clothes wise, actually, just to give you a bit of insight, I own probably 5 or 6 t-shirts. That's it. That's all I wear all the time. They're just on rotation, plain colors. And also I own 2 pairs of jeans, one of which I usually wear just all the time. And then when I feel like they've been stretched and washed enough, I'll just go to the other pair. I own like 2 pairs of shorts and 2 pairs of shoes. That's it.
Love that.
Reason, it removes decision-making powers. So I just get up and I put clothes on and that's it.
I think it means like the clutter and stress. I had so much stuff in my room, and my girlfriend is really big into minimalism. I can't remember this guy is the minimalist, but I watched that podcast and that Netflix on them. Basically, it's about removing all the excess. And
Marie Kondo.
Take it down to charity shop, get rid of it. And I'm still not like you. I haven't got like 6 t-shirts, but I'm getting there, and I've removed some excess. And it's important. Makes the decision-making process easier. Like this.
So easy. So easy. But and again, just sharing with you while we're here and everyone else that's listening, I didn't grow up with much, right? I didn't grow up with much until we created the family business. That was with my mother and my stepfather when I was sort of 10 years old. So I'm used to not having much either. So I've been conditioned to just accept that we only have a couple of pieces of clothing. And then when I went and joined the military, it was the same scenario. You had shirt, trousers, this kit does that, these boots do that, and then you have, you know, a couple of civilian t-shirts and a pair of jeans for going out once a week, and that's it. You know, so I quite like that regimented thing of just having those basic bits of clothing. Plus, I'm a typical guy, right? I like just getting up and knowing something fits, and just wearing it, and I look good. That's it. Spray, good. I'm sexy. I'm good to go.
Policy off. Good to go.
Well, Penhaligon's, actually. Penhaligon's is my favourite. Penhaligon's is a company that was established in England a lot of years ago, and they actually provided Churchill with his colognes, and they also created a cologne for Lady Diana. So they're actually my favourite. They're amazing. I love them, and they do the same trick, right, where they put a bit outside the shop and they've got like blowers. That's literally how they lured me in the first time I went to try some of their stuff. I just like that advert where the guy smells the bacon and you're like, oh, you know, wafts in through the door. It was just like that. Quick fire question number 6. What is the last gift that you bought someone?
Oh, so yeah, it's my girlfriend's. We're in Cuba. It's my girlfriend's birthday, and she's into drum and bass as well. So I've got her tickets to Hospitality on the Beach, this big drum and bass festival in Croatia.
Love it.
So yeah, it's about working hard, but I also love, you know, I've cut back on my nights out. But the nights that I do go, I just go purely, you know, for that music and to let loose a little bit. So yeah, we're going there. So that's the last gift I bought someone. She was, you know, really surprised and happy, obviously.
Oh, that's nice, dude. I like it.
Yeah.
So you're well into. You love music.
Love music. Used to be a little emo rocker kid, and then made the transition into drum and bass. And people give it a bad rep that, you know, you go there and everyone's doing whatever and maybe not doing everything legal. But I go there. I just go there with a bottle of water. Like I go there sober sometimes, and the crowd's gone a bit younger now. And you know, we're at drum and bass night in London for Halloween. Me and my girlfriend at the back, just having a little dance. This couple come up to us and we get chatting to them. They're like, "Oh my god, it's my birthday today." I'm like, "Oh, sick! Happy birthday, mate." He goes, "It's my 18th," and I'm there. They're like obviously fucked. And me and my girlfriend have some bottles of water at the back, like sober 28-year-olds. Just like, oh, I'm on the way out here. I'm on the way out.
Don't worry about that, dude.
So,
like I'll be into my, you know, easily into my 50s and 60s, like my mum is now, you know, going to music events and stuff.
Yeah, I love live music, like anything live, whether it's the drum bass, it's the acoustic stuff I go to. There's just such great like energy there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's amazing.
The uniting of people for one purpose.
It is like that. It's a bit similar to that, and everyone's there for a shared purpose. No one's on their phones. No one's like. Everyone's just there purely just to be involved in this amazing thing that's happening on stage. No one has got any other worries in their life in that moment.
Yeah.
That's what's really magical. Great.
Remove everyone's attention from everything else. It's interesting that. It's interesting that. I'll let that little thought grow in your minds as you're listening. So quick fire question number 7. Are you an early riser or are you a night owl?
Oh, early riser. Always have been. You know, I get up usually get up at 6, go and train my brother, who's still a teacher. So we go and train together, bit of weights, and then he goes off to school and I start my thing. So yeah, always been an early riser.
Boom. Awesome. Same. I'm exactly the same.
Yeah.
Quick fire question number 8. Tea or coffee?
Coffee. Usually a cortado or a flat white. I'm a coffee snob.
Yes, good. We're in good company. We're in good company. Yeah. Although this year I've taken to starting the day with a 3-mint tea just to give my little adrenals, you know, a little bit of a break. I got advised that I shouldn't be just smashing a coffee as soon as I wake up because it's not good for my cortisol levels. So I'm trying something a little bit different this year. And I do feel a little bit better already. I will be honest, although I do like brewing my own coffee. Cold brew. Cold brew. You tried cold brew coffee before?
Yeah, cold brew. You get these eggy shops in London. It's in like a little glass bottle. For like £1 or whatever. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah, make your own. Super easy. Super easy. I'll tell you about this after the show.
Put it in the notes.
Quick fire question number 9. What's your favourite place in the world, dude?
I'd like to say Canada, specifically Vancouver.
Yeah.
Going snowboarding there last year was just unbelievable. Like the friendliest people in the world. We got to experience the culture. and just the snow and the landscape is just amazing. I think anywhere for me, as long as it's got a breathtaking landscape.
Awesome.
And Canada was just next level.
Hey, they know what it's all about. Love it. I love it. I've met so many Canadians in my life, and they do generally tend to be very, very happy people, very upbeat, and they've got a pretty dark sense of humor, which suits me down to the ground as well.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Quick fire question number 10. Have we seen your best yet?
No. And if I'm honest, right now, I'm not really sure what my best, like, what does my best look like? What does success look like? I've got my rough little plan, but I'm just keep learning and growing. And I don't think I'm not sure I'll ever reach best, whatever that is. This is going to take a lifetime for me to achieve, generally speaking, like to get where I want to be. And I'm never going to stop helping and serving people. So no, because I want to help and serve more people. That's what I'd say my best is.
Yes. Great answer. Great answer. I appreciate your time, coming on today, and I'm sure everyone, that's been watching and listening does too. Where can these people find you? I will put all of this stuff in the show notes in the description, so you can go and connect with Sam, see what his work's all about. Check out the website. But I'll let you tell them firsthand as well, dude.
Yeah, thanks. So my website is studentbreakthrough.com. We're just having a little bit of a rebrand on there, but you can see some videos and a bit more about me. The best way to get hold of me is through Facebook, which is just Student Breakthrough, or Sam Moinet, which is Moinet, that dodgy French surname, or my Instagram, which is at Student Breakthrough as well. So yeah, please connect. I'd love to hear from you if you're a parent or a relative or someone who's got children in their life that maybe just wants a little chat or wants some more support. I'd be more than willing to give you some time just to chat over stuff.
Brilliant. So www.studentbreakthrough.com. And then your email address is sam@studentbreakthrough.com.
Yep,
yeah, your handles for Instagram and Facebook, both at Student Breakthrough, but you can connect with Sam personally. And again, his name will be all over the descriptions and stuff like that. And I'm sure he'd welcome, a new friend and a new little inbox to reply to. So
we all need friends and connection.
That's right. It's all about connection. It's all about connection in this world. So Sam, thanks so much for your time, dude. Really appreciate coming on and sharing everything about your personal life and, where Student Breakthrough is going and how it all started. And, maybe we do this in a year's time and, see what you've done. And, we talk about the growth of the business at the beginning of next year.
That would actually be awesome. So yeah, thank you so much for having me. Thanks for everyone who's listening. I hope you enjoyed it and hope you speak to me soon.
Brilliant. I'm Rich from richwellington.com. Thanks for tuning into the Transformative Sales Podcast. I'll see you on the next one.